Let's go!
Hello everyone, it has been a very long time. My name is Josh from the Lintendo channel. Welcome back to another fixing video. It has been a really long time since we last did one. The last one we did was the 3DS hinge repair. Now we had to buy a brand new part for that one and fix it up. Now, I apologize that I haven't done any fixing videos. Mostly because I haven't gotten really a hands on anything that really needs fixing, and most of it has just been friends that are like really easy repairs. But enough of that, we got something exciting today. I got a Game Gear. What's wrong with this Game Gear? Well, you can see, doesn't work. Now I have a couple of mods here that we can take a look at. It's a power amp mod, and we're also doing a new battery mod as well. We're going to use rechargeable batteries on this one using a new power board. And I got these products from Handheld Legends, so link is in the description for all of the products, as well as down in the comments as well. So make sure to check that out. Anyways, let's get on to this repair. What we have is a power amp clean juice mod. It has a USB-C and also 2 rechargeable batteries. Next we have the soundboard, the new one that we're going to use. And then we also have the capacitors. Alright, so there are about several screws here. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1 game bit. So we're going to unscrew all of those. Once all the screws are taken out, we can finally undo the top part of the shell. And then we're going to unscrew all the screws here for the soundboard. Yeah, so there's several in the way. I've had to, take apart the shield. And then we can pop out the board. Here's the new one, has a new shiny wheel. Looks nice, don't have to replace any capacitors. So we're just going to install that right into there. I made the mistake actually of installing it first before actually going to the power. I thought this was going to be the easiest part first, but it ends up being a little bit more difficult, as when I'm trying to do the power board, you'll see I end up having to actually take out the soundboard again so that I can siphon through the wires for the batteries. We have to remove this little shield that has the houses of some of the terminals. So we go in there to take that off so that we can put in the new power board on here, and it just gives us two new rechargeable batteries and gives us USB-C charging, which is very nice in this day and age. Now once that is done, just put the screws back on, and then we gotta take off the old terminals because we are no longer going to be using the terminals as we're going to be using USB-C. So all you got to do is just take off that little wiring and just cut it off with some wire cutters. Some are soldered on, but since you don't really need to use them anymore, you just gotta cut them off and then just siphon them through the battery compartment. Gotta lift up and push through, and that should easily fall out. Now some of the other ones are a little bit harder to do. And here is my struggle of some of the harder battery terminals to get out. So that was kind of tough to get, but I managed to push them out. Now it's time to siphon through all of the batteries through the holes where the battery terminals were. So we just have to go and siphon it through. And then just kind of siphon the wire through and then plug that wire in. Here's the second battery that goes on the other side. And this is the part I realized my mistake. Like I said earlier, this is where I made that mistake. So now I'm going back to remove the RF shielding. We're going to remove that soundboard. And then now we're going to siphon through the wire of the new battery. And then we're going to, you know, just roll it in and wrap it around the post a few times. You know, siphon it through. Now we're just kind of siphoning the wire so that it'll be more flush and just a little easier to handle. And then we're going to plug that sucker in. I decided to wrap it around instead of using some tape. Either way, that's fine. You do what you gotta do. So now it's time to put the soundboard back in and the ray shielding. And then once that's done, those two mods are basically completely done. After I installed the new mods, I tried turning it on and see if it was anything. I ended up having a blank screen, a white screen. As you can see, the Sega does pop up, but the screen is still not in good shape. So we're gonna replace all the fuses of the Game Gear because I'm sure it needed to be replaced. So now it is time to replace the capacitors. We gotta unscrew all of the screws. This is actually my first time unscrewing a Game Gear motherboard, so I apologize if I didn't do anything right. This is my first time doing it, and I just did it on camera. So I ended up taking basically every single thing out. Here I am just, you know, installing the new capacitors. Make sure you do have the right capacitors. You need to know what serial number your motherboard is. It's on like the side of the motherboard, so if you have one then you need to replace the caps. That's just kind of what you need to do. The caps can be kind of tricky to handle, even for a somewhat experienced person handling a soldering iron, because there are some small components, not super tiny, but small enough that if you're not careful you could damage some things. I will put a diagram up on the board to make sure to know which one it is. This one right here is a VA01 9024. That is my motherboard model number. So make sure you get the right schematic. I will have the schematics for all of them down in the comments below. For the soundboard, all the products in this video, it will be in the comment below and also in the description. So make sure to check that out. But yeah, here's the completed look of that capacitor, and we're just going in and doing the rest of them. Now we are replacing the fuses. The fuses that I have on here are actually replacement ones that I used the wrong fuses, so we're actually going to replace that one. So make sure that you do have the right fuses. So the first thing we're going to do, we are going to unsolder the little voltage backlight thing, and it's just a couple points. You just got to pull it out once you heat up the solder. And then what I like to do is just use some flush cutters and just snap that right off. There. So these are the new fuses that you should get. They are Panasonic thermal fuse, temperature 102 Celsius, 1 amp, 250 volts, link axial lead. I'll have a link in the description for all of the products that you need to replace this. Again, depending on your model, you need to figure out which Game Gear that you have. So I like to snip off all of the rest of the wool wires here and make sure that it's in good shape. Now we are reattaching that little backlight thing. And once that's done, we can even go in and test. I ended up forgetting 2 fuses, so I replaced them off camera, and I completely forgot. That was just my mistake. So now here we are putting everything back together. Once that's back together, just put in the wiring, and we're gonna link it back up. You don't have to fasten it all the way in, but you just need it enough that you can test. So now you can take a look, and it is in good shape. And you can see that the LCD is working and that you can see everything. Now it's time to button everything back up. Put on the covers. Put in a game and start playing. The capacitor replacement took some time, but the mods were pretty easy. I do recommend it. So if you do have a Game Gear that you've already replaced as capacitors, make sure you do get this new power board and you get the soundboard. They're very easy. They're not super expensive to buy. So I do fully recommend it. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about this video. I'm just so glad that the Game Gear finally works again. I mean, it does work. It's just I had to replace a bunch of things and I forgot to replace one fuse, and the others, it's just a whole nother thing that I had to do. So anyways, that is gonna do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.